A game in which the Panthers could have had it, should have had it. In the end, though, another frustrating and close loss. It is just one win. They have just 4 wins on the season, but you get the sense this is really one that can help them. The Tar Heels will help tip off this big-time basketball showcase in about half an hour, and boy, could UNC use a win. You know, at various points this season, you could easily say the Panthers were the worst team in the NFL and that Bryce Young's future with the franchise was finished. And now we're rethinking all of that. They got it done on the road. Now they got to get it done at home. This is such a special moment for this city, this franchise, this fan base. Guys, I'm not biased, I promise, but I'm being dressed up by the Colombian fans. Now that's a combined 25 seasons in the NFL of catching passes. So who's going to catch Bryce Young's passes now? There's all sorts of goofy bowl names this time of year. We've got the Cheez-It Bowl. We don't need that here in Charlotte. We've got the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I might eat these later, but I'm going to dispatch them for now. But here in Charlotte, yes, we have the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and nobody goes as extra as these guys. And to say that this hire was a big swing would be a massive understatement. This was really a moonshot. He is lauded for his work turning around the careers of Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield.
Pinheiro kicks it through, and the Panthers have won.
Doesn't matter the exchange rate, Eddie Pinheiro is always money. That's his 3rd game winner for the Carolina Panthers. Carolina surpassing last year's win total now with 3, with 7 games to go. It's their first 2-game winning streak in 2 seasons. Now, we heard about Bryce Young's steady start in Munich a few minutes ago. But how about this defense, this much maligned unit all year, shutting out the Giants in the first half? They gave up the lead, but in the second half took the ball away twice, including on the Giants' first play of overtime when former Giant A'Shawn Robinson punched the ball free for Josie Jewell to recover.
My teammates were saying I was having a great game, and so coming from that team from last year, I had a little extra more fire, and no one would be better to end the game. So I was telling them I would want to end the game if I get the chance. If I go back out there, and I had the chance to. And once I saw the opportunity, I saw them carrying the ball loosely the whole game. We've been going at it after it, and I just had the opportunity just to go after the ball. I knew if we get the ball back, we have the chance.
Panthers on the bye, then they host the Chiefs. Meanwhile, a NASCAR championship that leaves many wondering, is this still the best way to do it? While the regular season wins leader Kyle Larson had already been eliminated in the knockout-style playoff format, Joey Logano, who'd actually been eliminated last month but let back in due to a disqualification, wound up winning the title. And many have an issue with that. Of course, Logano doesn't.
I got nothing to say to him. I got a pretty sweet trophy right now. I've been laughing all the way to the bank. Everyone knows the rules when the season starts. And, you know, we figured out how to do it the best and figured out how to win.
You know what? He is right in that sense. You know who is not right? NBA refs last night in the Hornets' overtime loss against Philly. In their 2-minute report today, the league says this foul should not have been called against Seth Curry as he regained possession. There were 5 seconds left in overtime, and the Hornets had a chance down 1. Instead, they lose by 2. Back at Spectrum Center, 15,524 fans filling the seats for a women's Final Four rematch between South Carolina and NC State. That's even more than attended last year's Ally tip-off featuring Caitlin Clark. It was a win for the Gamecocks and the sport, says Coach Dawn Staley.
You made every team feel like it was their home court, so I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all our fans and of all the teams that came out and created an environment in which we all can be proud of. So women's basketball won today.
And sitting there, you had to think women's Final Four, maybe WNBA franchise at some point down the road. This is a city that has continued to support the women's game. Yesterday, no different.
It's just getting bigger and bigger, too.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day. There was another game. Iowa beat Virginia Tech.
I'm trying to put all the stress that I have into all of my workouts. So by the time the race comes around, it's just I either put the work in or I didn't.
Rock and roll.
Carson Clough is always putting in the work and always on the go, whether it's swimming, running, biking, or making coffee. Clough is the co-founder of the popular Giddy Goat Coffee Roasters in Plaza Midwood, where you'll often see him, if you can catch up.
Look at their faces. They're already mad I'm back here.
For Clough, it's been constant movement, for all of his 30 years.
Bouncing off the walls, always competitive. I had endless energy.
Sports, the ocean, and family nurtured that spirit.
I was kind of given everything growing up. I definitely knew it too. And so that was one of the aspects that allowed me to kind of really push outside the limits.
Clough excelled in the classroom and in athletics, playing some lacrosse at UNC before graduating with degrees in biology, chemistry, and entrepreneurship. Life was swimming right along until one summer day on Lake Norman 5 years ago, swimming back to the boat after wakeboarding, a freak accident unfolded.
Both feet met the propeller, and I found out how strong those propellers really are. I noticed that there was blood. I did look up and see that my foot was missing.
That night when we got the phone call, which nobody wants to get that phone call.
Clough was airlifted to a hospital. When his mom met him there, Carson immediately reassured her.
Carson was on a gurney. He lifted his head and he goes, "Mom, I'm going to be fine."
He had everything below his right knee amputated, but doctors were able to save his left leg. This is the part where you find out something else Clough did not lose, was his sense of humor.
My right foot is still up there, so if you find it, you can keep it. I don't necessarily need that back.
Doctors said he would be in the hospital for weeks, but 9 days later, Carson Clough wheeled himself out. It was the beginning of what he matter-of-factly calls his one-legged life.
I mean, it was just another challenge, trying to slow me down.
By now you know, it did not. After a month, Clough got his first prosthetic leg and immediately began testing it out by taking small walks at Freedom Park.
I just really had the mindset that wasn't exactly prescribed by all my doctors, but the more pain that I can put it through in the beginning, the better off it'll be in the end.
Walking was the first step, then running, then a running leg, then biking and swimming. All of a sudden, USA Triathlon invited him for a test in Colorado Springs.
Wasn't anything I did in my two-legged life.
Since then, Clough's rise to the top of the rankings in para-triathlon has been astounding, and now he's going to Paris to compete in the Paralympics.
The way I'm looking at it is I have nothing to lose, and I'm not going there for fun, I'm going there to win.
Where a door closes, a window opens, and he has definitely proven that. So I have learned so much from him.
Turns out many others who think a loss of a limb might mean the loss of everything else life has to offer are learning from Carson Clough too.
Put a goal out there that you're not supposed to be able to get to and go get it. And that's what I'm doing, and if I can inspire people along the way, I'm obviously stoked about that.
For WCNC Charlotte, I'm Nick Carboni.